Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Didn't even get the files, the documentation that Trump had wrote that he was gonna do, that he said that he was gonna do as soon as he got in the office. I try to get that later. I did a last video, but I rethought about something, and I thought, I think to myself. Well, firstly, I'm gonna let you know, I think I'm coming down with a little bit something. But I was thinking about this, and I did one before, but I figured out it was too long. It's too long, so I'm gonna shorten it like this. Now, picture this. What if? This is just a big what if. But what if this guy's tactic is different? What if, let's just say, if he did give all the hoods what they wanted, I'm talking all the hoods. I'm talking, he fixed everything up, right? And even came out with something like he was trying to prepare with reparations. How many of you think in the hoods would join the military for an international war across the Middle East and Africa? If he did that, let's say he did that for 4 or 5 years straight, fixed up all the hoods, put food on the table, start talking about reparations, start giving stuff. He's a businessman. Businessmen sometimes do give you a come up. You gotta give something back. Gotta give something back. Right? So what if he actually did that? What if that's a game plan? Right? I was talking about my last video about, the last video before actually, about the prison industry complex. That's big business, and war is big business. And how they would come into the hood and how they would lock up a lot of the hustlers, the G's, and things of that nature, But I started thinking a little bit bigger than that. I mean, he said he was going to clean stuff up, so no doubt he's going to do that. But what if once he gets all them people incarcerated, let's say he do that, and he give them a choice. Say, you can go fight in a war, and if you make it back alive, then, we let you out or something like that. Right? But here's what I was thinking. Now, what if he fixed up all the hood and he gave you everything that you needed? Your moms are straight, everybody's straight, in your families, your kids are straight. He even started talking about reparations, and then one day he gave forward the call, let us be a united America, and that we have foreign enemies. How many of you think in the hoods would join? How many of you would still be revolutionary minded? Right? Why are you revolutionary? Why are you a thug? Why are you against the system? The question is intention. Why? Is it some temporary thing? See, if it's for independence, it don't matter what he's gonna give you, because you want to rule. You want to be independent. You want to be free. But if it's any other reason, any type of other reason, there's a big chance you'll sell out if that condition is met. Right? So if he fix up all these hoods, now I'm going to show you the sinister. I'm going to show you the trickery. So you got to remember, they're white supremacists, whether they give you something or they don't, whether they smile at you or they don't. They still white supremacists. They still have an agenda for domination. So he fixes up all the hoods, fixes up the schools, gives you a lot of stuff where you're somewhat comfortable. And one day the call comes for patriotism. America needs to go to war. All of us as Americans need to be united and go to an international war. And so the master plan kicks in. What the Klansmen want. what the white Zionist Jew want, right? What even a lot of white supremacist Arabs want. But we're particularly dealing over here in the United States and Western countries. Those people that they brung as slaves or came to their land and colonialized and put them in slavery. Either or way or the mix of that too. Those two streams. So he calls for an international war. And then all of those in the hood start to join. And they go fight an international war. And the black population is dwindling in America. And in America, in the hoods and everywhere where there's blacks in this country. And then he's putting all our people on the front lines and they just getting slaughtered left and right. They killing and killing. That achieves the aim of getting rid of the black problem, or what they see as the black problem in this country. See, he's a businessman. War is business. That would be the most sinister plan, wouldn't it? If I had all the money and you was a thorn in my side, and I had this problem that we created on our own, and I had to get rid of you, and I had to figure out, and all the other stuff is not working. The drugs we gave you is not working. The gang violence that we keep going, the beef we keep going among you is not working. The drugs, I mentioned the drugs, but the tests and experiments that we're dropping on you is not working. Everything's not working. So finally, you know what? Reverse psychology. Let's give them, or appear to give them, what they want. And they will serve us under patriotism. Then we can on the patriotism, we can send them out. They'll go to war. We'll do them the numbers. We'll put them on the front lines. They'll prove their loyalty. They'll prove their patriotism. And then we will still be the ones in power. We will still be the ones dominant. The status quo would not have changed. The only thing that would have changed is our tactic and how we've dealt with them. Right? So, definitely, when people have an agenda to grind, to achieve, whether there's technology or there's not technology or whatever, there's an agenda. There's an ideology. And they have to achieve that ideology. They have to achieve that agenda according to the standards of white supremacy. I want to be supreme. I want to run it all. I want to rule it all. I don't want to share. So I have a certain percentage that's a thorn in my side and that I've been trying to get rid of, but it's just not going fast enough. So I have to come up with a genius way to get rid of them. It's not about what they think. It's not about what they want. It's not about what they want to do. It's about my plan, my agenda, what I'm trying to do. Now, if what they want and what they think and what they want to do happens to coincide with fulfilling my agenda and my plan, that is what I will execute as the final strategy to achieve my goal. So that's what I'm saying. Keep your eye open. Don't fall for the smile. Don't even fall for, some little things given, because there's an agenda. See? And so the only solution for us is independence. Well, that's all I got to say. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Black power, black liberation. And they think that if it does go the other route, that some want to take it, they're going to cause hell on us. It's not just going to be hell on us only. Straight up. Straight up. So it's not going to be that easy. The bloodline is still here. Some of us don't know it, but the bloodline is still here. There's some among our families that tell about our bloodline, what we did up in here. Let me recall some. the Gula Wars, the Black Seminole Wars, the Battle of Fort Negro, the Yamasee War, Nat Turner's Rebellion, even over there in Haiti, Toussaint Overture, Dessalines. So it's not gonna be easy like people imagine and people think. You know, people, if they had enough intellect and logic, will finally just say, you know what, we done put these people through so much hell. Let's just stop. You know, hair thorn, and let's just stop. Right? Because at the end of the day, if they wanted peace, if people want peace, you got to have justice. You can't scoop people's concerns and problems aside and say it's not really a big deal. No, man, they're just exaggerating. It's not an exaggeration. It's just that because you and your stock or your family or your background, your culture, the area of the cities that you dwelled in did not go through that. So to you, it's not a reality. And of course, it wouldn't be a reality. You know, it wouldn't be a reality. So that's the problem. That's one of the problems when people start talking about these issues. We live in different realities based upon different experiences, based upon different aspects of a thought, of a heritage handed down, and based upon sometimes even how, the eras we live in is different. So I mean, the only solution is independence. This black so-called president that was a joke was still under the system. Still had to pull to the tunes. Right? So that's the real solution that, everybody needs to just push for. They independent. I'm talking about, they independent and we independent and we leave each other alone. Just leave each other alone. But there's another problem, because if you go towards Africa, it has a lot of resources, and everyone knows that's really into the business world, that's in the resource, into resources like oil, gold, diamonds, cobalt. What does cobalt do? Right? You need it. And if your country and your land that you occupy does not possess it, and you have modern technology, you need some of them things that work as electrical, conduits, and that helps computers work and jets work, right? So leaving people alone is not going to happen unless them people over there are going to share, and them people might not share because they want to make the money. See what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Here's one thing I'll throw out there and I'm finished. Black people, African people are the first aboriginals of this earth. Let's put that in as a reminder. I want to put that as a reminder to everybody. Black people, quote unquote, I'm going to call black people, African people, aboriginal people are the first people on this globe. The rulership and the domination belongs to us. So think about that when you transgress beyond all bounds, which is what's been going on. Things have gotten so, out of hand, out of balance. You need rhythm to get this creation in tune. Rhythm. So that was more of a symbolical thought I threw out there. And actually it's literal too, to those who understand that type of lingo, what I'm saying. Okay. So it is what it is. I wish for it be better, but I'm not hung up on wishes. I know what the real deal is. and the reality, the real reality it is. What about Native Americans? That's a whole new different subject. Who are you calling a Native American? What are you calling an Aboriginal American? Some people have been lied to about that too. Right? Been lied to about that too. When the colonials got here, there was two type of when the colonials got here, and I can make a different video about that, but brief. When the colonials got here, there were two type of natives here. There were black aboriginals. It's like the black aboriginals that were in Canada. You know, all the Americas was one. So to think that there would be black aboriginals in Canada and no relatives over this way in America is ridiculous. There was black aboriginals and there was red natives too. You know, but most history just talk about red natives and they don't talk too much about the black aboriginals. And then, you know, red natives just think, or, you know, they just think, you know, they the only natives and things of that nature. But, yeah. So, but that, again, that's a different video. And whoever's native of the land, whatever areas they were at, they deserve the land back. Period. They deserve the land back. You know, but the first thing that among Native Americans that must be established is they need to sit down, because there's people that are black. For example, me. I know of my Aboriginal, you know, native legacy, my inheritance. But I talk to some other natives, they don't want to recognize that there's black natives. See? But so that's even a racist or light-skinned racism that exists among Native Americans. They think every Native American's got to be almost looking like a white guy, or you know, just with long straight hair. That's just not a fact. Not all natives looked exactly the same or alike. They didn't have the same languages, same customs. But that's a whole different subject, like I said. But just remember, blacks are the original people of the earth. Just look up in space. You want to talk about nature all the time. Stare up in space when it's night and look at it. That's the strongest proof that you can see. Stare up at it and reflect. As it is in heaven, as it was on earth at first too. Black. And then different spectrums of color. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And black power, black liberation. Indeed.